The way she writes about women's problems that are there for everybody to see, but nobody talks about them. And these problems have been written about eternally. Even in Urdu literature, बहुत सालों से इस पर लिखा गया है, बहुत भरा हुआ है इन सारी तहरीरों से। तो ताहिरा, मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे, आपके ऊपर एक फहश निकाह का लेबल चिपका है, क्यों?
Because I talk about those issues which never have been discussed openly in the society. 100 years before, Dr. Rashid Jahan was a gynecologist and a doctor, and she was in the progressive movement who felt that the most neglected part of the society is women, and we don't talk about her problems, especially her health. So she brought those topics into the local language, that was Urdu. And it's important to reach up to the masses in the local language, that is Urdu. So when the people listen all those problems like about periods, about delivery, about pregnancy, so they think that these topics should not be discussed openly. But my thing is that I say that life starts from a woman. Life starts from the periods. And I openly say, if my mother was not having periods, I would not have been delivered, and actually nobody would have been delivered. So when I talk like that my periods, my mother periods, my daughter periods, and I talk about vagina openly, then they think that I'm a type of a vulgar thing. While I say that vagina, what should I say to vagina? There is a word in the Urdu which they say sharamga, but I think that why to say the sharamga from where I have been born?
A place of shame.
Yeah, a place of shame. I have not been born from a place of shame. I'm proud that I have been born from my mother and she delivered me vaginally. So when I challenge these things, that vagina is not the place of shame, period is not a taboo, that we should not talk behind the curtains, then they think that I am some sort of talking about the vulgar things.
So, coming back to the recent floods that we've had, we saw as relief workers, as advocacy people, that everything that was being sent out to the affectees, there was nothing about sanitary napkins.
Yes, there was no pads, and
we really had to shout about it, and then the whole debate started on Twitter that if you're going to send sanitary napkins, dignity kits as they're called, to women, then why not shaving kits for men? I mean, it's that non-serious an attitude that you compare two very different things. One is that happens to a woman every month, age 8 till 60 and go on. And we also saw that periods or menstruation, those are the issues that Tahira has taken up so brilliantly in her writings, that they touch your heart. They touch my heart, they will touch my daughter's heart, they will touch anybody's heart, because every woman goes through periods, almost everyone goes through pregnancy, disaster, man-made or natural, don't stop these things. So, Tahira, I mean, ideally I would have liked you to read a few lines from your writings. Aside from these very two basic issues of periods and pregnancy and delivery, she's written about issues like the whole concept of wedding night, which is also sort of in our literature, in our culture, it's romanticized. And you see movies where wedding nights are like, full of flowers, and there are people, male and female. There relatives who are whispering, especially women, and a girl is on her entire life is prepared for that wedding night. There is no education.
But there's nobody talks that what's going to happen.
I remember one of your short stories which
Yeah, and
based on a case study.
the people like they bombarded me after that. But how can it happen? Like, and the many doctors and the gynecologists are witness that we receive the girls after having first coitus at the wedding night, like bleeding and very deep vaginal tears, because they are not mentally prepared, and the family and the relatives and the friends, they are expecting that tomorrow we have to see some sign of virginity, and sign of virginity is that hymen will rupture, and hymen will rupture and there will be bleeding. So it's a specially prerequisite in some families that they want to see the white sheet after the wedding night, and stained with blood, and the couple is under the pressure that they have to do it in spite of this thing, that they don't know the details, and they don't, and sometimes it's their first meeting. So I always fail to understand that at first meeting how someone can be so intimate and without knowing the knowledge in details. One thing. Second thing is that when they try, and then when they end up in the trouble, the gynecologist in the hospital is the one who receives these patients, and believe me, some of the girls, they die because the very experienced person is not there at the periphery. Imagine that this is happening in somewhere in a village near Muridke. Muridke is now a town, near the Lahore. So if it is happening somewhere in Muridke, and the woman or girl bleeds, then first thing is that there will be too much embarrassment. Then somebody will know. Then they will take to the local clinic. Then they will go to the local small hospital where an experienced doctor will not be there. The facilities will not be there. Until the time she will reach to Lahore to some big hospital, she will be not in a condition to survive. I have seen young girls dying with the post-coital tears, and many of the doctors like me. So when I started to write about that, then people say, oh, this thing, how she can openly say that? How the wedding night and post-coital tears, and how the hymen things, like, I tell you, the girls send me messages in so much anxiety that after 2 weeks we are having our wedding, and we are like very conscious that if we didn't bleed, then what will happen? And the problem is that people don't know that hymen is not a sign of virginity. It's something from, I'm telling you, the gynecologically. It's a thin membrane which sometimes, even after doing the coitus, it doesn't cause bleeding. But if you tell ethically, then why the women are expected to produce a sign of virginity? Why not men? Many of the men are sitting here, and I will ask them openly that why this pressure is on the girl. If both are humans, if both are starting life together, if both are building a family, then why a woman is passed through that process?
That brings me to another interesting debate that we recently had about the hymen stuff. There was a cycling event somewhere in KP, I don't exactly remember which location. So a lot of women had come out with their bicycles, and there was a huge debate that if women or young girls start to cycle, the hymens will be damaged. So there was a ban. That is the kind of mindset that we need to counter. That is the kind of mindset that's been there for the past 100 years or maybe more. I'll just quote a very small example of a writer from Urdu literature, Rajinder Singh Bedi. Many years ago, almost like he was writing it in the 60s, he wrote a short story called Apne Dukh Mujhe De Do, Give Me Your Miseries or Sorrows. And that was about a wedding night where this man is very eager and the woman just says that I'm not going to ask you for anything, but I'll just ask you, give me all your sorrows. And the writer writes that sentence took out from the male his inhumanity. Because till then he was just very eager, he was like a normal male eager to perform. But that very sentence, that give me your sorrows, changed everything. So there has been a lot of literature in Urdu that's taken up women's reproductive health rights. She mentioned Dr. Rashid Jahan. And I remember one of her short stories that Tahira herself had written in her tribute to Rashid Jahan.
Yes.
That how a woman was complaining that she has to maintain herself so that her husband doesn't remarry, although she has to deliver every year, but still she has to have herself in a perfect condition. So all those things connect to women's rights and they connect to human rights. You really have to understand that women's rights are human rights. There's the difference. When you start to write about women, when you start to talk about women, anything that you say becomes obscene, anything you say becomes vulgar, because talking about women in itself is not a done thing, not even in this 21st century. Unfortunately, it's 2023 and we're still struggling from where Dr. Rashid Jahan in 1932 started to get to a point where people would actually start to realize that whatever people like Dr. Tahira are writing, it's not vulgar. It's based on public studies. Each short story that she's written is not without evidence. It's
People
very
think,
factual.
people think that I write, I just exaggerate the things. They don't know that I actually don't exaggerate. I don't write the actual things which are happening. People don't know what happened to the woman. Maternal mortality rate is the highest for us in the world after Afghanistan. Just imagine that we are like every 100,000 women, 370 women die in delivery and miscarriages in the 21st century, where no woman should die, because Pakistan is not only Lahore, Pakistan is not only Karachi, Pakistan is not only Islamabad, Pakistan is Thar, Pakistan is Gilgit, Pakistan is Rahim Yar Khan, Pakistan is interior Sindh. So imagine that what will happen to the woman over there. I just want to tell that once, because you mentioned my story, so once I hired a maid for my little daughter, and she was from somewhere very interior Punjab. She came to me and my house, and I told her everything about baby. And after some days, I felt that there is very strong smell in my house, and I was like not. I tried to discover from where it is coming, and then we came to know that the girl is having periods and she doesn't know what to use for the periods. So I asked her, Beta, what do you use when you had at your home? So do you know what she said? Leaves of the trees.
Oh my God.
So I said, why? She said, because we don't have money to buy anything. We don't have money to buy cotton. So I said, why not old clothes? So she says, Baji, we have 2 pair of clothes that. So what Amma does, Amma takes lot of leaves, maybe the banyan trees or something, and then she ties the leaves with a small piece of cloth, and then she gives us to use. So imagine girls of your age in this era are using leaves and how they are living. So that's why when this flood came, when I talked, actually this was because it's a Dawn media group sponsorship, so I must say that Dawn asked me to give me a lead that please write about that. So I wrote all the टीलों पे बैठी हुई हामला औरतें. So I wrote that what those women will be doing when they will have periods. It's going into the pants without anything. So imagine, no man can imagine. So now I want to tell you about the basic human rights, as you said. UNICEF head Sanjay Bajiskra said that लड़कियों और औरतों की माहवारी से वाबस्ता ज़रूरियात का ख्याल रखना उनका बुनियादी इंसानी हक है और इसकी खिलाफ वर्जी किसी भी और इंसानी हक की खिलाफ वर्जी के बराबर है. So imagine that periods is the basic human right. So just one, because you said few words from my article. So I'm saying शहरों में मुकीम लोगों को शायद ये बात समझ ना आती हो, मगर थर के सहरा में छप्पर नुमा घरों, पहाड़ों में बने छोटे छोटे मकानों और दूर दराज देहातों के कच्चे कमरों की मकीन को तसव्वुर की आंख से देखिए और सोचिए कि कपड़े, पैड और रुई के बगैर मौसम की सख्तियों का भी सामना हो तो मूसलाधार बारिश, बर्फ का तूफान, आंधी और झक्कड़ और सैलाब में औरत क्या करती होगी. कौन सोच सकता है कि दुनिया को एक आलमी गांव में बदलने वाली 21वीं सदी का दामन औरत के लिए आज भी तंग है. रेत, राख, भूसी, दरख्तों के पत्ते, समंदरी बेलें, रबर और लाल या काली शलवार, बस यही कुछ है आज भी औरत के नसीब में. एंड
Can I say something please?
Yeah, sure.
ये जब आप MBBS की डिग्री लेते हैं तो डॉक्टर्स को साथ ये भी क्यों नहीं बताते कि ये भी आपने जो चाहे छोटे गांव हैं बड़े वहाँ भी लेडी डॉक्टर्स हैं कि ये लाजमी हिस्सा है कि औरतों को ये तालीम भी दी जाए गांव में कि भाई क्या उनके भी क्या इस मामले में हकूक़ है, उनको पता ही नहीं है.
Financial things. I told you that the doctor can only tell you, but doctor cannot provide the things. From where she will bring the cotton? That's why I just told you. No, doctors tell. We all the time are telling the woman that please do this, and we guide them so much about the delivery. Now imagine, I write so much about the delivery. So imagine that if in a village a woman is there whose child is like in the tummy, lying transversely, lying like this. Imagine that she is present in some mountain house and child is not longitudinal, means it cannot come out through vagina. So what that woman will do? What that doctor will do? That woman needs operation and there is no operation theatre. There is nothing. So what will happen? That woman will die. And if placenta ruptures somewhere, even in the periphery of Lahore, and when placenta previa, which is down, placenta means, like the people who don't know the placenta's Urdu, that is like owl. If owl is down and if it starts bleeding, that woman cannot reach to any big hospital. That woman die then and there. So my point of view is that health care should reach till every corner, wherever a woman is, she should have facility to avail for her body for pregnancy, because pregnancy and delivery is considered to be the role of woman. Without that, nobody will, if a woman is not producing a child, that is, she is considered as useless.
So Tahira, I'm just interrupting here, since we only have I think 3 more minutes to go. जी जी
मैडम, सवाल ये है कि हमारे मज़हब के अंदर फिक़्ह का एक पूरा बाब होता है, क्योंकि मेरी बैकग्राउंड वहाँ से है। फिक़्ह का एक पूरा बाब औरतों की माहवारी पे पूरा डिस्कस करते हैं फिक़्ह के अंदर कि 7 दिन 6 दिन सारा कुछ। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा, हम सारे मुसलमान हैं ज़्यादातर पाकिस्तान में, तो ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट किधर आया कि फिक़्ह तो ओपनली मर्द पढ़ रहे थे ना, फिक़्ह में वो ओपनली तो डिस्कस कर रहे हैं औरत की माहवारी, उसके मसाइल, और अब मुआशरा इस बारे में बात ही नहीं कर रहा है, ये शर्म महसूस कर रहा है। तो मुसलमान होने के बावजूद ये जो थिंग्स हैं, आपको क्या लगता है कि हमारे अदब में, माशरे में ये चीज़ें कहाँ से?
You know, I live in Gulf. So in Gulf, it is also discussed very openly. Like all the boys and all the men and the father, even they come with their daughters, and sometimes the son comes with the mother who's delivering in the labor ward. Can anybody imagine here? And he will come and he will ask openly, how far is my mother dilated? Can anybody imagine that son is asking a doctor that how far the uterus is dilated? And here they will say, toba toba, बेटा अपनी माँ की डिलीवरी के मुतालिक पूछ रहा है. So we are the combination of Indian civilization, like Indian culture and the Arab culture. We have taken the things which are notorious on the both sides. Okay, like the Arab culture, they are quite open on one side. We have not taken that. And the Indian culture, they also have some other things which we have not taken. So we have taken the taboos of the both sides. This is the bad thing for us. So now I think time is not there. My publisher is there with your due respect. So
I would just like to say that writing about these issues, number one, it should be sexual and reproductive health. You can't reproduce without sexual health. That is absurd to each one and just let one go. Number one. Number two, every person, male or female, should not feel ashamed of talking about their bodies. It's a very natural thing. It's something that a child should be taught from, I think, age of 4 or 5, how to protect him or herself and how to be a healthy person in the society. So whatever Tahira is writing, I don't think from any parents obscene. So I told her that, there is strategy for now that people can now hoga. If you are
I'm proud of that.
if you have that name, you will still be famous. So she's still famous.
ये चीज़ तारीफ करवा दी कि इस चीज़ को संजीदा लिखी।
बिल्कुल
डॉक्टर ताहिरा पहली खान।
बिल्कुल मैंने ये बताया कि गायनी फेमिनिज्म पे बात करने वाली तुमसे
बाकी सब ने लिखा था
मैं बात करूँ क्या बात करें? So she's the first one. She's the pioneer. We have just started a podcast which takes questions and she answers. My organization is Tahira, and it is like our Facebook is full of queries from men and women both. So Tahira definitely is the first woman in Pakistan, Pakistani woman who's writing about these things in Urdu. She's written 4 books. Her latest book has come out. The publisher is here. You can get the book if you want to read it. In fact, you should be reading all the books.
Thank you. You talk about just last sentences because feminism has a long history, and being feminist is something taboo in the Pakistan, and people think that these are the women who have some upward agenda, who has they talk about the feminism. But I want to say that I have coined the term gynae feminism, and gynae feminism is the thing that if you don't know about your body and if your body is not healthy, you cannot fight for your rights. Fight of education, fight of right of education, right of getting like everything what you want. Those are all, as a human being, the same as a man. As the man is entitled to have all the basic human rights, the woman is entitled also to have those human rights, and you cannot fight if you don't know your body. So please learn your body. This is gynae feminism. Outside, this is mujhe feminist na kaho. It's something like you can imagine that what it is, because the society was not allowing me to say those things. So very sarcastically, I said, don't call me a feminist. And then on the back title, I have published all those abuses which the people gave me. And this is my second book, and the fourth one is outside. So
Oops. For being here, for being a very good audience. I hope that there is some takeaway for you. And even if it's just 1% of whatever we have said that is registered in your mind, we feel that we have covered. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks all of you who came all the way to meet me or to listen to me. Thank you very much. It's part of my mission.